And good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Leslie. How are you?
I'm great on this sunnier or kind of partially sunny day after our first day of rain in how many
A
weeks or
very,
months?
very long time. I feel like I haven't seen rain, which, if I'm going to be truthful, I haven't missed on a personal level, but I know we need it. So I guess I'm glad I saw some.
Yes. So we're going to do something different while we're waiting for everyone to start chiming in. We want to highlight tips that you shared in the comments last month. They're just too good not to share. So I'm going to first post one, and this is one that Melissa selected. So if you read it.
Yeah, this is from our friend Lincoln Axon, and it is be the person you'd like to meet. And what could be a better networking tip than that?
It's actually making me feel like it's just wants to make me smile because
Yep.
that's the essence of the first. If you don't know what rule to follow that one.
Follow that one.
So I'm gonna pick out another one that both Melissa and I picked, and maybe it's because we just recently met this person in real life together, and it was lovely. So I'm going to read it. Evan Benjamin said, tip, don't just connect with industry friends. Find different interests. It's so true that we really need to hear, if you just are in that kind of echo chamber, maybe people who have some discourse with you, but another industry, they'll ask questions that you just never even thought of because they're not in that industry. And it makes you think more like, oh, wow, never thought of that. So I just love that.
I'm also going to say you never know where your career journey is going to take you, right? When I first joined LinkedIn, my whole network was fashion people, but I ended up pivoting industries. So, aside from the fact that a more varied network is just more interesting, you never know where you're going to end up in your career. So, it makes sense to connect with interesting people from everywhere.
I love that. And then I'm going to share this one. And Melissa, if you could read it, because it kind of goes together.
Yeah, so this is from our friend Sia, and she's responding to Evan, and she's saying, true that when I left corporate, I realized that my network was only in tech. I changed that real quick. And, I think that Sia was reading my mind. We sometimes can change what we're doing, where we are, and having a broader network is only going to serve us.
I love it. I love it. Just for those who are joining, we're going to get to your hellos and comments in a moment. We're sharing comments that you shared last month because some of them are just too good. We don't want to let go of them. So I have another one that I'm going to share. This is from Lincoln Brown. Listen more than you speak. That speaks very loudly to me.
Thanks for itself.
And here's another one from our friend Ari.
Pitch slapping is an auto block in person and in the DMs. 1,000% yes. No pitch slapping.
Enough said. And this one comes from a friend of both of ours, Kimberly. We want to use these platforms to build meaningful relationships, not, and I'm emphasizing the not, to just rack up numbers, because the numbers will mean nothing if you don't back it up with meaningful relationships.
100%.
So let's squeeze in maybe two more, and then we'll get to the comments and welcome everyone. Here's another one that you picked out.
Yeah, I picked this one out from Michelle Angelina. So when I am not, oh, this is not the whole quote though. I think we could have fitted it in. Do you have the whole quote?
Yes, I do. So you start to read it and I'll pull it up.
Okay, fantastic. When I am networking, I remind myself of two things. We're going to have a drum roll while we wait.
And a drum roll while I go back. So let me just enlarge it so I can read it. First is not to go in with expectations. Then there can't be disappointments.
Yes.
Second, I always remind myself, just like another, my feelings and thoughts are equally valid, and it's okay to agree to disagree.
You know how much I love
Love that.
that. It is okay to disagree. Just disagree politely. Have a nice
Yes,
conversation. It's totally fine.
exactly. And then I want to share this final one. Karen Cooper. It's like dating. You got to weed out the bad ones. And if you notice, there's another little note because I remember Karen shared it last month. Tomorrow's her birthday, so I want to
Happy
wish her, we both
birthday.
want to wish her happy early birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday, Karen.
So now, and we got to just switch gears. There are people here, a lot of people. So
Yay.
we're going to try to say hello to some of you, and then we're going to do our quick welcome and introductions. Oh, so here's a perfect networking thing. I met Stephen last night from Gene, who met him from Evan. So there's been this whole like networking link going on in the comments. So Stephen, we're so glad you're here. And Karen, she's referring to probably one of the quotes. Hopefully she also liked our happy birthday wish to her.
I think I saw she did. Yes.
Oh, good morning, G. Oh, it's so good to see you. And Anne, love that Lincoln. Yes, Lincoln always has great quotes. And it's great to see you, Anne. She did this lovely post highlighting last month's event. And we appreciate it. And here she is. Hi, Sue. This is the source of a lot of the networking going on in the comments. So welcome, Jean. And we'll get a few more in. Oh, good morning, Deborah. Her name will be mentioned soon when Melissa makes an announcement. And here he is.
Aw.
Evan, I hope you heard the quote we shared about you. Otherwise, you have to watch the replay. And my friend Holly. Oh, it's so good to see you. And we'll get a few more. Oh, Tanya's here. We haven't seen you in a
Oh,
while.
hi,
Oh, it's so
Tanya.
good to see you. We've missed you. I'm going to get to more of those, all of the hellos soon. We're going to get started now to welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our new viewers, our viewers from before, and also anyone who's watching the replay. This is Let's Talk About It. We talk about careers, business, and LinkedIn, of course. This is episode 14. Almost a continuation, but with a new twist of last month. It's our best recipe for networking and the holidays. So I'm going to ask Melissa if you'd introduce yourself and also the event. You can mention what's coming up soon in New York.
I sure will. Thank you. I'm Melissa Cohen. I am a personal brand and LinkedIn strategist. I am here in New York City, as is Leslie. And I am so happy to see so many familiar faces and some new faces. So thank you all so much for joining us this morning. And Jeannie, I am excited to know how to pronounce your name. I have also been mispronouncing it in my head. So thank you. And that is a really good networking tip, everyone, by the way. If someone is mispronouncing your name, or in my case, getting it wrong completely, because somehow I often get called Michelle, please, just politely correct them. Don't let that mistake keep going, because we won't know how to say your name or what your name correctly is if you don't let us know. So Jeannie, thank you for that. Leslie, thank you for the opportunity to tell any of you who are local or close to New York City, or I will say I have people coming from Texas, and breaking news that we have someone coming from Canada. So Deborah Volkman, who is here in our audience, and Wendy Shore, and Kevin Turner, and I are going to be speaking on a LinkedIn panel moderated by Donnie Boyven. Donnie and Kevin are coming from Texas. And that LinkedIn panel is part of a larger day of networking, uh, communal lunch, and a happy hour that we're hosting in Midtown New York in Times Square in a beautiful space. So we will be sure to drop the link in the comments. And if any of you are able to join, it would be amazing to see all of you in person. So thank you, Leslie, for letting me share that.
Yay. And I can let everyone know I will be there in attendance. So I'm looking forward to the networking. So I'm Leslie Nydick. Many of you know conflict happens. So that's really where my work starts. I help people get unstuck from conflict. I share tips. It involves negotiation, communication, and of course, conflict. And besides LinkedIn, you can also find me on YouTube and Instagram, and you can also find Melissa on Instagram too. So look for me in all those places or on my website, The Conflict Strategist. So let's get in like 2 or 3 more hellos. And yes, Jeannie. It's funny. I knew that originally, and then I thought, no, it's Jean. So I apologize, and I'm glad we can correct that. We're going to say hello to a few more people, and then I'm just going to get to it, the right spot. Sorry. Well, we might skip it if I can't get to the right spot. Oh, here. Hello, Jen. It's so good to see you. And yes, happy birthday, Karen. We're getting everyone to say happy birthday, Karen. And Lauren's here. Hey. And I'm skipping. Hello, Jason. Oh, and for those that I'm going to do some networking this afternoon in person, and I will be seeing Jason a little bit later.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Carlos, you made it. And he's an early bird to make it. Him and Jeannie, there's a few that deserve awards for the early hour. Ashif, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly because that's what I've said in my head all the time I've known him. And do we have a few more there's a lot of people like going back and forth. So, and I see a LinkedIn user, so I'm sorry I'm not. Oh, Lincoln, if you didn't hear your name before, you need to watch the replay to catch the beginning. We shared a quote about you. So I'm going to go back to the banners. Oh, so sorry, I skipped it. So what we want, this is for the audience, so we need your input. Many people feel that networking is cringeworthy, and at best, it's uncomfortable. What are some of the top reasons of yourself or what you've heard from other people of why it feels so cringy? Because by the way, we want to get rid of all the negative at the beginning, and then we're going to work on staying positive. So if you can start sharing in the comments, and then I'm going to ask Melissa. I know you don't necessarily feel like it's cringy now, but from your past, my past, I know we've had cringy feelings about networking. So if you could share some of your thoughts, and I'll get to the comments now.
Yeah, I think it's all it's all about how you go into it and what your expectations are. And that was a big shift for me. I think if we go into a networking situation thinking that I have to close deals or I have to get leads, I have to, make a sale, that's cringy. Nobody wants to go to an event and be pitched. Nobody wants to go to an event and feel like they're being sold to, right? So look at it as an opportunity just to meet people and meet people that you genuinely enjoy spending time with, hanging out with, having a conversation with. And maybe not everyone that you meet you're going to feel that way about. That's fine. But I guarantee you, I have never once gone to a networking event and not walked away without having had at least a handful of really meaningful and positive conversations. And so I think it's really all about how you go into it, what expectations you have for the event and for yourself.
Love it. It's so helpful. And we have a few, yep, Karen agrees. I'm just going to start reading some of these. It's hard in the beginning because it's new. It gets better over time. I love that. And it's kind of like it's going to work out to just push through that discomfort. And Jeannie doesn't think it's cringy. I love that. And I think there was something out here. I might have put this and didn't read it. Networking was cringy until I met Melissa and Leslie, who changed my perspective. Oh, thank you. I didn't even read that fully before I posted it. Thank you, Anne. So and I think Karen added a few limiting beliefs about yourself. Yes, I've done that.
Great point.
And about what you're doing. Definitely. That's a great point. And I think we'll cover it later, but that's the point. Like, we have to get out of our own heads. Mostly it is what we're imagining versus what's really happening in front of us. Some of the reasons that I found that were very common: it feels pushy. Some people think it feels selfish. I think I thought that when I first heard the word networking a few decades ago. It feels like you're using people, and we're going to get to that's exactly what it isn't. And some said it's a waste of time. They must not be doing it right, is my thought. And of course, all the reasons you wrote in the comments. And I think some of your points touch on this. Let's change our mindset, because networking is essential to our careers, our business, and even friendships. Melissa and I are an example of that. Met on LinkedIn. We're friends. We also like advise each other in our support for each other. It's all kind of interwoven, and we'll get to that. So let's now talk about networking and the holidays. And we're gonna get, oh, sorry, takes a minute. So this is the one. Best tips: less cringe, more fun. And I'm gonna ask Melissa, what is your tip for reframing network to be something you look forward to instead of feeling the cringe?
Just go in without expectations, right? Don't put pressure on yourself. I think that is how it feels really cringy, right? You feel like you have to accomplish X, Y, or Z. You don't. Just go in with the mindset of, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to just go and meet people, eat some food, listen to some music, whatever the setting is, and I'm going to have a good time. And I think that's especially important at the holidays, right? The holidays is supposed to be this really happy, joyful time. And it is, but it can also be very stressful. We have a lot of responsibilities, there's a lot of events, there's a lot of pressure to do X, Y, and Z. And this is just a time that you can enjoy yourself and meet new people.
I love that. And this kind of fits together with that. What I wanted to say is rethink it. So reflect on, like, if you had a challenge, and put it now rather than reflecting. Who are the people you'd consider calling? There might be a colleague, a former manager, a friend, a family member. And now think of them as a group and as individuals. How did you meet them? Maybe it was at an event. For me, I've met some people that sat near me in the workplace. They weren't even part of my department, but you're physically near each other. Maybe someone introduced you, or I mentioned they may be a family member. All of that was actually networking. And that was good stuff. It wasn't cringy. So maybe that's where we think too much. So when we're rethinking, stop thinking so much. You're really networking all the time. And it's something that is good. And you just have to remember that it's good, and just start with a hello and then practice it and do it. And the results will prove themselves.
You made me think of something, Leslie. So, the holidays can be a really lonely time for people, right? Not everyone has family close to them, or some of us have estranged family members. The holidays can be a little bit of a sad time for people. And so just that simple act of reaching out to someone is actually a gift. shift, right? And so if we kind of, I know we've said the word reframe a lot, but it's the word that fits. If we just reframe the way we look at reaching out to someone, it's not selfish. It's actually quite the opposite. You can make someone's day just by saying, "Hey, I was thinking of you. How are you doing?" It doesn't have to be for any ulterior motive whatsoever. And you'll strengthen that relationship, you'll strengthen that connection, and you'll make someone feel really good. So it's not selfish at all.
No, and we have some great stuff in the comments to share too. Karen said, it's being human and just talking with people. It is. And the word networking, it's got work in there. I mean, I wish there was a new label for it. It's connecting with
But
people.
there is. Evan
And
came up with it. It's net learning.
love it. Love it. Oh, and welcome, Renee. It's about the amount of time I often feel I don't have. Ah, and that's where we have to weave it into like whatever we're doing. We're at a meeting. Uh, don't leave the meeting right when it ends. Maybe stay that 5 minutes. Just say, hey, hello. What'd you do last weekend? But it's true. It doesn't have to be huge blocks of time. You can do it in small blocks of time. And Lincoln is confirming no one likes a pitch slap. I don't know. There's got to be someone who likes it or it works on because there's so much pitch slapping going on. I've been a part of a local network for entrepreneurial women and it's been the best experience this year. That's from Jen. Thank you for sharing that. It is. You have to also find your groups that you feel comfortable with because then it'll make it easier when you're in a networking event or a group that's new to you. I don't know if Melissa's seeing any comments. So I'm like, it keeps on moving around.
Oh,
So I'm
they're
trying to
fantastic. We're
pick
going to
out.
have a lot of fun later. Don't worry. We're going to enjoy the comments later. I'm keeping one eyeball on them.
Here's the net learning. I love it, Evan. Great, great addition. And let's catch one more. Turn your personality loose. Enjoy yourself. That is such great advice. Oh, I love it. So with that, let's move to the next topic because, of course, we're going to go in the comments after. We always do. So the next question. Melissa, how can we take full advantage of networking, especially during the holidays? You've started to mention something, and if you can add to that.
Yeah. The holidays is an interesting time, right? It's joyful and it's stressful. We start focusing a little less on work, perhaps. And so I would say use that to your advantage, right? Use this time to really deepen your connections. The holidays, sometimes maybe we haven't spoken with someone in a while and we'd like to reach back out, but we feel a little awkward because we know it's been a little bit of time that's passed. The holidays is a perfect, just reaching out to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, reaching out to wish you a happy holiday season. It's a perfect opportunity to reconnect with people that maybe we've lost a little bit of touch with. And as I was saying before, almost everyone will be really happy to hear from someone, right? If it's a genuine message with no agenda. You're not looking to make a sale, you're not looking to, make a deal. You just want to say hello and reestablish that connection.
So, for those who don't know, Melissa and I don't share ahead of time how we're going to answer the question. So, mine, this
Sorry.
fits like a glove because I'm not even going to start how I was going to start because you already said it. But like using the holiday season. And here's an example of what I do with this hello thing that Melissa said. So in New York City, there's a huge parade, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and I will be going to it. And I've gone many times in the past, and I take loads of pictures. So I'll pick out a few photos and I'll use those as excuses to say hello to someone that I haven't said hello to in a long time. And then they might share like some decorations they saw somewhere. or we'll just keep on talking about the Thanksgiving Day parade, and it just becomes genuine. Like I'm talking about something that makes me happy. My photos hopefully made the person happy. And it just becomes the conversation that I didn't know how to necessarily start before, or maybe I just didn't make the time. So this is the time to do it. We're just open to it. And it fills that gap of like Melissa said, not everyone has family near them. They might be feeling a little alone, and your hello can mean so much. Now, there's one other tip that I need to squeeze in. I said it last time. I have received so many DMs and comments about how this has worked well for them. So we need to share it again. So for those that don't know, and you could kind of see it on my phone, hopefully it's not glaring too much. If you go to the event post, it's the default is that the comments are there, but there actually are 3 tabs. One is details to tell you who the speakers are, the comments, networking. You need to click on that tab. If you are a registered attendee, you could message anyone else who's a registered attendee. Don't pitch slap. But this is a great chance to do those hellos, and you don't have to do them all in the comments. You can send an individual message to someone and start the conversation. This is the holidays. Pick it, do the happy Thanksgiving, as Melissa suggested.
I love that. I actually didn't know about that tab for a very long time, and then somebody also pointed it out to me, and I said that it might have been you actually, Leslie. I think you were the one who told me, and I said that is just such a brilliant idea, right? We're all here, we're all having a conversation, and Leslie and I love seeing these conversations in the comments. And we also encourage you to have them individually, make connections here, form relationships, make friends. That's the whole reason that Leslie and I do this every month. We love connecting people and we love sharing ideas with each other.
Love it. Let's share some of your comments. Stephen, recently I've started viewing networking with a tone of excitement. I love that. I've narrowed in my messages and services, and I get excited thinking about the possibility of meeting someone I'm perfectly suited to helping. I love that. And I love how you're thinking about the helping part, because that's when you're giving, it'll come back to you tenfold. We have something else. I'm trying to get back because I think I see some people commenting on Susan's comment and I don't see it. Oh, maybe she's the LinkedIn user for some
Oh,
reason.
maybe.
So Susan is here. Welcome, welcome. And people are liking your comment. So we're going to find it when we get to the comments. I can't wait. It'll be a nice surprise and a gift. Here's something. Build a relationship based on give first, reputation with little to no expectation. Yeah. And if you do have expectations, share them or manage them. Because you really have to think about, if you're just going in with the I, you're probably not going to have a
Yes.
satisfying experience.
It's going to go bye because nobody wants to be on the ask end all the time, or on the end of being asked all the time.
Exactly. Here's something about what a great idea. Oh, and it's in comment to, I've already wanted to go and watch the balloons blow up. Okay, Karen, you're on my list. You're going to get a couple of photos from me afterwards. And so is Tanya, and so is Jeannie. I love this. And remember, it could just be you walk by like a friend's house and they had a lovely decoration. That could be something you could share. Or you walk by a store that had this amazing window. Oh, welcome, Ann. That networking tab can be great for intros. And now I think I have to give credit to Ann. She might have been the one who told me I saw the networking tab and didn't always know what it was. And it's like, oh, you can do free messaging between any registered attendees, which I love.
Our LinkedIn user is our fabulous friend Susan. So hello, Susan. Nice to see you.
So, and I'll be DMing you later to let you know, like, to find that setting of why you're showing up to us as LinkedIn user. Expect nothing, everything is a gift.
I love that.
And it changes. I love that thought. And of course, I'm looking like, oh my God, it got to 10:30 again
Oh my
already.
God.
But I love the gift, thinking everything is a gift, because I do like to go in with no expectations other than I'd like to say hello and connect with a few people. And that's enough. And then anything else I learn from them or get excited about is a gift. So thank you for that, Holly. So we're at that point. Let's keep the conversations and the networking going in the comments, please. This is how we're building relationships. When they say the magic is in the comments, these events are proof. We hope you will join us on December 20th. And for those who don't know, it is National Ugly Sweater Day. So we're going to leave it at that. There are going to be some surprises during our next episode.
Might not be such a surprise anymore.
Well, they're not going to know what we're showing them, but
True.
we've got some plans for the comments ahead of the event. Before that, before we sign off, Melissa, would you share some closing words?
I just want to thank everyone for being such excellent guests at our Let's Talk About It. I am so grateful that you all chose to spend a half hour with Leslie and me. And I just appreciate all these amazing comments. I seriously have been watching them scroll by, and I cannot wait to respond to a lot of them. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.